Hello and welcome to another edition of Insane in the Fembrain.
Insane in the Fembrain.
But before we get into it, over on Insane in the Membrane this week, I have one of my favourite comedians on the planet, Mr. Sean McLaughlin. It was a great chat with Sean, and it turns out he's a big fan of the podcast as well.
I think I sent you a message a couple months ago about this, because I was going on I started running during lockdown.
Yes.
I'm that guy. And I was listening to this podcast as I was running, and I just sort of was compelled to send it to you because I was like, I always feel like I'm above. I'm such a fucking ego in it when you go like, oh, these things go, oh yeah, it's helping me, like podcasts helping me. I'm always like, I'm above all that, okay? I don't need a podcast to help me. But genuinely, I mean, I don't know how. Well, this is a nice thing to hear or not, but like, I listened to a few of your episodes, and it really leveled me out. I feel.
Oh, nice, man. So that's Sean McLaughlin over on Insane in the Membrane right now, all ready for you to stick it in your ears. So, let's get into it. Insane in the Fembrane coming at you. Again, I hope everyone's doing all right. I hope you're looking after yourselves. I'm doing all right, I think. You know, I think we're just trying to get by, aren't we? Like we say this every week. You know, you're trying to, you know, figure out, you're trying to navigate these murky waters at the moment, and hopefully you've got people around you that are helping you out and you're helping them out. I hope you're doing all right. It's a weird old time, but take some solace in knowing that we are all in this together. We are not the government. I don't know what they're doing, and they don't seem to think that we're all in this together. But you and I, us, we will get through this if we help each other out. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I've got a bit of a day job going on, which is nice. Got some gigs. I'm having a nice time. It's all right. We're doing fine. This week's guest is plus-size model Felicity Hayward. Felicity Hayward was she was like sort of like one of the pioneers of changing the face of fashion. Like this, you know, for years, as you know, it's always been size 0 models and being stick thin was the way forward, and Felicity kind of was one of the ones that sort of changed all that, you know, really paved the way for, you know, how people view, you know, how people view models and women in general and people in general, because people are all different shapes and sizes, and you know, and you see these shops they don't, you know, the biggest thing they stock is a size 10 or whatever it is, and not many people are like that. It's not natural to be that small, is it? We're all living our lives, and we're all, you know, we fluctuate, don't we? You know, and Felicity she's, like I say, she's a pioneer in that field. She's really done so much to change the way we view these things, and she's a really nice woman. She was really easy to talk to. Again, she's a friend of Jade, so Jade hooked us up, and you know, and it was really nice to chat to her. There's a bit towards the end, Jade, with Felicity and we talk about Jade and I's, you know, our relationship at the minute. You know, we're having a time. You know, it's a tough old time. We're bumping up against each other a little bit, and we talk about that in the episodes. You know, we're just human beings. You know, we still love each other. We're just figuring a few things out. So that's towards the end. But it's a really nice conversation, and it made me realise a few things as well. You know, the way society like, you know, all that shit was drummed into us before, and sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I wish I was a bit thinner. I hate being this chunky and all that. But then you go, well, you know, it's not disgusting. It's just how I am. You know, this is what I look like. There's no point stressing about it. So, you know, it was nice to have a chat with her. So, you know, let's get into it, shall we? So coming up in a sec, Felicity Hayward.
I've had to turn my fridge off because it keeps making this fucking humming sound. And last time I did one, they were like, you've got to turn your fridge off, so...
Oh, mate.
There is ice cream in the freezer, guys. Just putting it out there.
Right, let's get this quick. Let's get this done. We don't want ice cream for you.
That's only going to be good for baked Alaska, otherwise, isn't it?
No, I'll tell you what. It cost me. It was this one from the shop down the road, and this is really boring. I've cut out dairy, so I had to buy a vegan one. And it was £7.50, and I really wanted ice cream last night. £7.50.
Nah, mate. Listen.
That's the last time that's happened. That's the last time it's ever happening.
You sound like Jade. Jade's like that. Oh, this cost £49. I'm like, but There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. Yeah, but it's £49. Like, fucking hell. Just get a bit of Argandaz, mate.
We're off then.
There we go, mate. So why was that then? Is it just because dairy's a problem? Like, I know I have a bit of a problem with it, but I think that's because I'm getting older.
No, I think in the last few months I've just been stressed, and like my skin has just been like, and I cut out sugar. That was really, really boring. Made me really grumpy.
I'm in the process of doing that.
It's horrible. Sugar is in everything, babes, everything. So I cut out sugar, thinking that that would be the problem, because I have eczema, like I had it when I was a kid, and I haven't had it for years. And then the fucker just started. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah. Do what you like, mate. Yeah.
And the eczema just kind of it started to come back. So I cut out sugar. I started to eat loads of dairy, and then it just like that was the end of it.
Just blew up.
So I love cheese.
Me, yes. I don't know anyone that does. Oh no, there was a bloke I know that I'm mates with that's scared of cheese, and he probably gets
cheese.
Yeah, he's just got he's got a phobia of it. Yeah, he hates the fact that I keep bringing it up, because he's like a black belt in all this stuff. And then I go, yeah, but what about the cheese? Like you could do him with a cheese string.
Oh my God! One of my mum's ex-boyfriends when I was younger, he was scared of tomato ketchup.
What?
He was scared of tomato ketchup, and I remember when I was younger, and I don't care that I'm saying this, but my mum said when they broke up, my mum sent me to his house. I must have been like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And she made me squeeze ketchup all over his front door, his letterbox, his car handles, like the door handles of everything, in the keyhole. So yeah.
Oh my God, that is phenomenal! What a thing to be scared of. I wonder what they think.
That's what's made me who I am today. You know, fighting ex-boyfriends at the age of 9 with ketchup.
Yeah, it was character building. She set you on.
It was definitely character building.
Yeah, she set you on a strong path there. Yeah, definitely. And I think obviously it's you know, because I've been reading about you, and Jade's been telling me about you, and you know you really do know how to like push yourself and get stuck in, you know, like you did that the Self-Love Brings Beauty campaign.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, you even back then you were like, no, things have to change. And that's because most of us just look at things and go, oh, that's not right, but then we don't really know how to do anything about it, whereas you didn't. You got stuck in, and that's incredible.
Well, I think the thing is like I started my career as a plus-size model in 2012. Obviously, me and Jade are mates. We've known each other for much longer. And when it started, I mean, I was dancing to Diana Ross at the George and Dragon on Hackney Road, and got scouted and asked to do a shoot as Anna Nicole Smith. And obviously, I was, you know, I'm a Leo. I'm a natural born show off. I just thought, oh yeah, this would be great. Great pictures to show my nan. And the pictures came out and they went viral, because at that time, you know, bigger women were not used in fashion editorials unless you were, a celebrity like Beth Ditto, for example, who's amazing. But you weren't used, and you weren't seen as desirable. You weren't seen as cool, fashionable, or anything like that. So when that came out, and then I remember I had about 5 jobs at that time. I was working a lesbian speed dating night at the Retro Bar, and you weren't allowed your phones, and I obviously had mine behind the counter. And I got an email from someone saying like, is anyone representing you? Like, would you like to be represented as a model? And I burst out laughing. I thought someone was punking me. It then turns out the person that emailed me was the ginger one from the Sugar Babes, who was currently working at a model agency at the time. So it's all a bit peculiar. And
that's mad.
So weird. And got signed and became,
incredible.
The UK's first plus-size model of my age. And
amazing. Because it did have to change. I talked about this with Desiree Birch, and we talked about being because people always say to me, like, because I like women with curves, and they talk about it like it's a fetish. And you're like, no, I just like people to be people. It's not about you know, the size of them or anything like that. It's just, you know, I just like people who are chilled out with how they look. You know, and I don't want to be with someone who's 3 stone and they're paranoid about standing next to cheese and eating it. And
or ketchup.
You know what I mean? Or ketchup, right? Just somewhere, I mean, don't eat to the point where your feet fall off, but having that, just people that are a bit more relaxed about how they are and being happy with who they are. That's what I'm attracted to. But society still, even though changes are being made, these big companies are still reluctant to make changes, and it needs people like you to be doing that. And
I think that's the whole reason that I started Self-Love Brings Beauty, because it was so funny. Because one of my first jobs, I did a campaign for MAC Cosmetics, which was a really big deal back then. Plus size women were not used in beauty campaigns like they are now. Like, they weren't.
Yeah.
And I remember I'd get interviewed about it, and literally the person would be like, so yeah, it's really great that you've got this campaign. So how many times do you go to the gym? What's your diet like? And all this stuff. And I'm thinking, if I was a size 10, you wouldn't be asking me these questions.
No.
And it's really bad, because I actually felt sorry for the people that were interviewing me, because they've kind of been brainwashed by society to think that, a woman over 16 is obese and disgusting. And, the fact that I've had this opportunity is quite crazy. And I just thought, if these people understood that, confidence and happiness comes from self-love, if these people understood that self-love brings beauty to themselves and others, then maybe they wouldn't ask these ignorant questions. So that's kind of how it came about, because I was like, I'm just really bored of being asked these questions which have nothing to do with the task at hand. So set up a hashtag. My best mate at the time, she drew my hands in like a heart shape. She's a graphic designer. We did it in her bedroom one Sunday, and I was like, let's just make this into a thing. And that was, 5 years ago now. Just kind of been pushing that initiative of just like, being yourself is cool. Like, please don't listen to society. And actually, it's kind of weird, because now, in 2020, we are seeing loads more brands being so much more diverse and inclusive to what it was back then. Yeah.
And then you had Tess Halliday on the front cover of Cosmopolitan, and everyone went bananas for. I mean, it was good to see, but it should have been happening anyway. It's like, do you know what I mean? It was a triumphant moment, but it shouldn't have been that big a deal. It should have already been happening. I know, growing up, even I've got body issues, because I get other men will come up to me when they see me, and they're like, all right, Rich, and they'll poke my belly. And they're like, all right, mate, putting on a bit of timber. I did it the other day. Someone just called me fat. They just called me fat. We were at a gig. And it's, so it happens to men as well. And we get made to feel like, if we're not got an 8-pack, then we're a worthless piece of shit. And it's not cool, man. It's not cool at all.
It's not really spoke about with men either.
No.
It's obviously it has been in the last kind of couple of years, more with like Instagram and like social media campaigns and stuff, but generally men are kind of just told to keep quiet and not talk about their emotions, their feelings, and a lot of men do have a lot of body hang-ups.
Oh, for sure. I'll have a good day and I'll be like, I feel great today, and then I'll see a reflection of myself in the shop window or something. I'm like, oh, what's the state of that? And it just ruins my day, and it shouldn't. I felt good, but because of the way society is, because I'm not 8 feet tall and ripped like Zac Efron. Even that, when Zac Efron, they were all over.
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, they're going, oh, dad bod. I'm like, fucking dad bod.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I look like I've eaten a dad. What he had wasn't a dad bod. That was just him, just on a cheat day.
And I'm not being funny. Like, your body's changed throughout your whole life. Like, I could literally talk about this for hours. And your bodies do change, and I think you should just allow that to happen. Yeah, I'm not saying that, make yourself severely overweight or severely underweight, because, there are health issues with every single size. And I think that's one of the things that always winds me up, is just like people always think if you're bigger that you have, you're going to have loads of health implications. Whereas you could be a lot smaller and still have the same problems. But again, society is like, well, actually, if you're thin, you're beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
It's mad, because I did a talk recently about body image and body positivity, and I spoke about the fact that we've been going through, each decade we've been going through different trends. Like, we're not talking about fashion trends and what's the new product to buy, we're talking about body trends. So, you know, I remember in the 90s, you know, when I was at school, Britney and Christina were like the poster girls. So, you know, they were very, very thin, very slender, up and down, like no sort of curves to their body. And I remember at school, like, obviously having a big bum, and, you know, the question was, does my bum look big in this? And like, you would want to hide it. And you fast forward to now, and literally your bum can't big enough. You know, it's literally like curves are in, big booties. You've got people like the Kardashians who are promoting this kind of curvy aesthetic and are kind of the trailblazers of this weird body trend that we have at the moment. But the issue that I have is that these bodies are fake, and obviously had a lot of surgery, and people lie about it. And the kind of a toxic situation you have from that is, you know, we have young women who are going to get illegal butt injections, and the injections are filled with concrete, and they're dying of infections because they want to look like these girls and these women who are kind of got this weird, you know, obsession with this one type of body. And, you know, we've gone from the 90s of being very slender. I mean, even if you look back in time, like the 60s, you had Twiggy. The 50s, everyone was very curvy and pin-up. Like, what is going to be the next body trend, and what is going to happen to all these girls that have had these lip fillers, these butt injections, you know, all of these different things? What's going to happen to them? Yeah,
you're right. They'll just get ostracized again and be told that they're wrong because they're not fashionable anymore. And and then they're gonna, like you said, they're going to be ill as well, because these things are just going to infect them. You know, that's people just don't realise what I mean, even when people were having eyebrow piercings, and because it went against the grain of the skin, the way the skin would grow, they always just get pushed out. And so all these people have got scars now on their eyebrows, and they, you know, because that's the body doesn't enjoy having alien things in it. You know, society needs to change in it. And just when you think it's about to, we end up going backwards again. Like with Instagram, I see all these people on Instagram, these so-called influencers, and they're only like, they've got millions of followers, like from all the different outfits that they wear, but they're just wearing everyday stuff. You know, it's not, and people aspire to be these people, but they're not really doing anything. But it's, you know, they're portraying that you know, you see them doing yoga. There's loads of yoga, and there's loads of this and loads of that, and people are like, oh, I want that life. You're like, yeah, these people have got loads of money and loads of time. That's why they do this. You know, you've got a job to do. You have to go to work. You haven't got time to be that way. You know, and so they take shortcuts, don't they? And like you say, they'll find a cheap surgeon somewhere to lop a bit off, and I think it's dangerous.
I think influencers definitely have a responsibility, and I think if you do get things done, you should be so transparent with them. That's the main thing. If you're in a position of privilege where you have an online presence and you use it for monetary gain, then you have to be so transparent with your audience, because those are the people that are keeping your career alive. And if you are giving them false information, you're harming them, and that's not cool.
No, not cool at all. Especially young girls that don't really know who they are, and they're looking at these people as role models. You know, they're like, that's what they aspire to be. Oh yeah, I want to be. It's now a thing, isn't it? I want to be an influencer on Instagram.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, no, there's more to life than that.
What are you influencing? What are you influencing?
Yeah, just wearing all the same clothes. It's weird. It's a weird thing. Yeah. I'm glad. But the thing is, I would have been the same at that age. I know I would have looked at that if I had Instagram and that when I was a kid. I probably would have looked at that and gone, oh yeah, I need to be more like that. So I get it. I totally understand it. The other thing is as well, talking about, because you're a model and all the things that you do, people just assume that there's not much else going on. But I was looking at I was checking out your stuff, and you're a massive fan of John Waters. And that I was like, oh wow, it's like that, and that's what people. I get it all the time. People don't realise that I've read a book. Yeah. I make a joke about it. People hear my accent and they don't ask me what kind of books I've read. They go, "What's the best van you've ever hired?" like
Right.
they don't assume I'm into anything else. Do you know what I mean? And that must be frustrating as well.
I mean, I love the seaside. I'm always at the bloody seaside.
Who doesn't love the seaside, mate? Love the seaside. That's why we live here in Leon Sea.
I came down to Southend last week. I should have come and seen you guys.
Yeah, you should have come and said hello.
But yeah, no, I guess it's people do have the kind of their own vision of what they think you are, and if you're a model. But at the end of the day, like, this isn't something that I aspired to be when I was younger. I had other things I wanted to do. I was training to be a primary school teacher. I was specialising and looking after kids with autism. I was teaching art therapy. So I was doing all of this other stuff before I got scouted. And I think because I got scouted, and it was a new opening of size diversity within fashion, I felt like it was more than just modelling, more than just taking a pretty picture and selling a jumper. It was like, no, hang on a minute, there isn't a space for us. So if I can move in and kind of create this space and open other doors, it's not just that kind of stupid model aesthetic that people think.
No, absolutely. Yeah. But it needed to happen as well. Yeah, it needed to happen because it, you know, like we've already said, society needed to change. It needs to realise that people aren't, you know, nobody is naturally a size 0. That was a mad time. You know, nobody is that. And like you say, your body changes as you get older. You start to fill out a bit more. You know, things start to happen. Like Mickey Flanagan said, you know, in your 40s, your belly pops out, and you know, you could ride your bike around the world. It's not going back in. It's just, you know, it changes, and that's, people need to understand that. But they kind of, a lot of these fashion companies, some of them still think that stick thin, that heroin chic that we had is the way forward, and it's dangerous.
Well, I saw someone this week, a lady in fashion, like quite high up, posted a thing about sample sizes and was like, hey guys, like I had a model trying to fit in, I don't know, say Prada. I don't know exactly the designer. Some Prada jeans this week. She's a small size 8 and she couldn't even do them up. We need to make a change. And like everyone was like, oh, this is amazing. And I was like, yeah, it's definitely amazing that this woman is speaking up, but we've been talking about this for years. You know, sample size like is like a size 4.
Oh my God.
They make size 4 samples. You know, obviously, I've been nowhere ever near. But I had to get my foot in one of those before. You know, but yeah, it is frustrating.
Yeah, I think it's like with Jade. Like Jade's really found herself in the last few years, and you know, she's not afraid to wear bright colours, and it's you know, and her outfits are really, you know, quite out there sometimes. And I've looked at her a couple of times. I'm like, I don't know how you're making that work, but you've got.
But she does.
You've got, yeah. I'm like, you've got 4 different animal prints on, 11 different colours, but it looks phenomenal. And I go, and I think it just comes down to confidence, as you've said.
Yeah,
you're like, if you feel good about yourself, you can wear whatever you like, you know, as long as if you feel good in it, that radiates out, you know, you're that kind of like, I don't give a fuck, I think I look great. And that's what we need to work on, isn't it? That people's confidence in themselves, like you said, which is why you were doing, Naked Beach? Yeah,
so that was a Channel 4 show I did, which was about getting people to find their confidence. So it was like, I think we had 15 people in total arrived in groups on an island, no idea what they were coming for, and there was 8 hosts, and we were all naked in body paint, and we took them through all these different games and like basically therapy in a roundabout way, these different like things we did with them to make them kind of come out of their shell and find their insecurities. But one of the nice things about it was it wasn't just women. It was a mix of all genders, all sizes, and you had men there that were struggling with their hair. You had men there that were struggling there about being too small, actually. Their frame being too small. You had girls on there who were struggling with stretch marks, but she was maybe only a size 10. So from the outside perspective, you would think, oh, a size 10 girl doesn't have stretch marks. It was a really, really beautiful show. kind of mixed with a bit of carry on, because it's quite funny at times. As always, anything that has something to do with body positivity is always going to be greatly received in some areas, but then in others the trolling will obviously start because people just don't understand. So and we are naked, so I guess we had body paint on, so you couldn't actually see certain areas, if you get my gist.
Oh, but, okay. So that's, and is it, well, I've never heard of that before. Is that so they just paint you all over, or just
so
to hide certain
basically
bits?
have like a thong on downstairs. You got a thong on downstairs, but basically everything else is just painted. It looks quite amazing, actually. But yeah, it was a really impactful show to be part of, because, you know, one of the girls on there has actually become one of my best friends, who came on and she was worried about her confidence. I mean, she hadn't had sex with her partner with the lights on for 10 years. And he was obviously they got kids together. Like, he's completely in love with her. But it's all down to her kind of mindset. She was like, I don't want to be seen naked with the lights on. You know, she'd never worn a bikini before. And like, you know, with a few hours with myself and the others, you know, managed to get her in a bikini. Managed to completely change her mindset on everything. And now she's got her own body positivity, like, t-shirt line. I mean,
oh my God.
Her partner has called and thanked me. So I guess that department is back on track. Yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was a good show. But obviously there was a lot of trolling. There was a lot of and I think the contestants as well needed a lot of protection as well, because people are vile online. They really are.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, the amount of times I see it with Jade, innit? And Jade is, you know, she's one of the most confident people I've ever met. But, you know, that you'd have to be a psychopath for that stuff not to affect you online. And people do say, it makes me laugh, it's always the people that have like words like tolerance and be kind in their bio. And then
live, love, life, or whatever.
Yeah. You absolute wanker.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of times that I'll go for him, and I'm like, what are you doing? What the fuck is this shit?
Is you can't antagonise them. It's really frustrating, because when it's like someone that you love and you're like, someone is going for them, you want to do the obviously thing and just protect, but actually sometimes it's not worth it. I mean, to be fair, babes, like, I usually ignore it all, usually just block and delete, but there's been a couple of times where I've let loose on them. And there was one guy who said to me, and actually, do you know what? It was one of the naked beach pictures. And I was lying there with my body paint with a pina colada and, you know, just literally enjoying my life. Like, my belly, you know, obviously has rolls. So I'm like just lying there very naturally. And he was just like, you are disgusting. I hope you die of a cardiac arrest. And I was just like, fair enough being like, oh, you're fat, you're ugly, I don't find you attractive. Like, fine. Whatever, I don't care. I hope you die of a cardiac arrest. No, sorry, it was, you're a fat pig, I hope you die of a cardiac arrest. And I was like, well, I have an even fatter wallet, a ginormous heart, you know, and I went on this list of just everything. I was just like, I have this, and this. So actually, you know, whatever. And I went home that weekend and I bumped into someone I went to school with, and she was like, hi Felicity, how are you? I was like, I'm good, babe. She was like, oh, like talking to me about my career and stuff. And she was like, yeah, I've seen you've been getting trolled online. And I'm thinking, well, I get trolled all the time, so I don't really know what she's talking about. But she was like, yeah, I saw that comment and actually looked at the page, and it turns out that is I'm actually a teacher now, and that's a 15-year-old boy who's in my class that commented on that.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what? Obviously, I live in London now, but I'm from Suffolk. So, you know, I've gone home for the weekend, and it was a random kid that went to a school in like Ipswich. And
oh my God, wow.
And someone I went to school with was his teacher.
That's mad.
She called him in. She was like, yeah, I called him in, and like his mum was mortified. He had all his social media taken off him. And then she then said, I don't know if you're interested, but would you like to come into school for Mental Health Week and talk about trolling? And I actually decided not to, because I actually think because of that kid's done that, I think his classmates will have known he's done that. And I think if I then come into the school talking about trolling in one way or factor or another, I think I'd be almost bullying him.
Yeah,
Do you understand what I mean by that? It's like, I was
absolutely.
like, happy to go into another school, but if I go into a school where a kid has been trolling me, it almost looks, and like, that kid obviously is a kid. He shouldn't have done it, but he's been influenced. That's the way I see it. And
True.
I feel like if I went into that school and was like, I've been trolled, all the kids are going to go by him, and then it's going to become a thing. And I just went, you know what, like, get someone else to come in to talk about it. I don't think it's right for me to come in, because it kind of seems like a bit of a, you know, I'm getting revenge on something, which didn't really hurt me. But
no,
you know, the issues are with young kids as well, though.
Oh, of course. Jay talks about it in her show, Serious Black Jumper, and she got into a back and forth with some Little Mix fans, and then one of them sent a picture of one of the Little Mix with a gun, and saying, like, you know, you want to watch yourself. Like, it's basically a death threat. So then Jay checked it out and went into it, and they discovered it was this young girl in Singapore?
Philippines.
In the Philippines, this young girl.
She's 17.
And she was 17, and it's like
insane.
Yeah, and I don't know what their laws are. That was what Jay was saying. She doesn't know what the laws are, so it's all very well going, yeah, let's get her. But she could have, you know, she could have been banged up for like 40 years or something. You don't know what they're like, what the different rules are in different places. So
absolutely,
like, yeah. So you doing that's really, because your instinct is to go, yeah, fuck him, let's fuck him up, but.
Yeah,
it doesn't help. Like you say, then you become the bully, and he'll either just be crushed, or he'll just retaliate in another way and be horrible in real life, and he just exacerbates the situation. Yeah, you're right. You had that brilliantly. Yeah, but I see these trolls, man. See it all the time, and it's horrible. Yeah. Someone was saying that if it was law that you had to have your actual face and your details on whatever you're on, Twitter or whatever, they reckon that would be, trolls wouldn't be so brave as to, you know, 100%. To do it.
I think, you know, and as well as in this industry, there is a lot of bitterness, there is a lot of jealousy, there is a lot of toxic behaviour happens, especially, and I'm sure in your guys too, and it is the people that troll the most, and the people that report are all the ones with fake profiles. They're all the ones that, you know, I see it all the time. People think I can't work out who's trolling me. You are stupid. I am Sherlock Holmes of Instagram. And
I sound like Jade.
As women, we're good detectives.
Yeah, you love a good old snoop.
Oh yeah, well, do you know why? Do you know why that is, babes? Usually at the fault of men. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that situation.
No, you're right, actually. I now do a bit about, like, people, like, women ask my advice. Now that I'm older, people don't ask me out. They ask my advice. They're like, you know, I need some help with something. I think my boyfriend's cheating on me. And I'm like, well, is his phone face down with all the notifications and sounds off all the time? And they're like, yeah. I go, yeah, he's cheating on you. Absolutely. Yeah. And like, how do you know? I go, it doesn't matter how I know. I just know. So I know what you mean. Yeah, men are fucking dodgy idiots. Well, the thing is, men don't grow up, really. Not really. We're big kids, aren't we, running around? And women, like Kathy Burke said, it's women that make more compromises in relationships, it seems, than men do, you know? But, you know, also, talking about men, you're a massive fan of Rod Stewart, is that right?
Oh my God, I love Rod Stewart. There is a picture of Rod Stewart next to my bed.
Is there really? From what era are we talking?
It's 70s, and he's got a gold suit on.
Oh yeah, all right, yeah, you can have that.
Gold pleather onesie.
Oh, what?
It's amazing.
I know the picture.
Do you actually? Well, do you like Rod Stewart?
I do, but nothing. When I became aware of Rod Stewart, it was like in the 80s, so it wasn't his best time for me. I just didn't enjoy it. But I've got my mates who are in a band, they're called Maker, and they're a bit like the Black Crows, that sort of thing, and they were always banging on about Rod Stewart. I'm like, are you kidding? That bloke's shit. They went, no, listen to this. And then they played a load of his 60s and like the 70s stuff. I'm like, I get it. I get it now. The bloke's voice is incredible.
He's a legend. Absolute legend.
So, I mean, what is he now? He must be in his 70s.
No, he's definitely in his 70s. And he's still doing it.
He's still out there, isn't he? There's a great video, actually. Someone showed me the other day of the song that he did with Sting and Bryan Adams.
Oh,
And it's on YouTube. And is it All for Love or something from a film, isn't it?
I literally listened to it the other day.
Yeah.
I think it is All for Love.
It is, isn't it? It's from a film.
Yeah.
Like, I want to say Robin Hood, but it's not.
I haven't seen
I don't know what it's from. But that video when they're all walking in and they're hugging and they're like, you're an hour late, Rod. He's like, yeah, whatever. It's like, yeah, I'm Rod Stewart.
It's Rod Stewart, do you know what I mean? That's what he wants.
I always thought he was Scottish for years.
That's because he supports Celtic.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, he was always wearing tartan and shit like that. What got you into Rod? What was it that triggered that?
Well, when I was younger, I am not a blonde. I'm not a natural blonde. And
I saw that on your thing, yeah.
Oh, I know. Tragic news. And when I was younger, I really wanted to have blonde hair. Or when I was a teenager. And I tried everything under the sun. I tried mascaras, I tried box bleaches and whatever. Didn't work. And everyone thinks, oh, she wants to look like Marilyn Monroe. She wants to look like that old school. That's like her vibe. Gwen Stefani. That sort of, you know. No, babes, I wanted to look like Rod Stewart and I cut my hair into a mullet and I wore leopard print. And the reason was my dad's a huge Rod Stewart fan. And I think when I was younger, I was a proper like 80s kid. Like when I was a teenager, like no one else was in my hometown. And it was at that time as well where charity shops were seen as like the poor shops. So you wouldn't go in them like you'd be seen as you were poor. It was also a time that charity shops had amazing stuff because like all of the 80s stuff was in there, and I'd go and buy records, I'd go and buy all like the Batwing jumpers and sequin stuff, all on like the pound rail. It was amazing. So I used to dress really 80s, and my dad loved Rod Stewart, and I think at the beginning I started to pretend I liked Rod Stewart to wind him up, because obviously like I thought he'd think it's really uncool. So I started to like pretend I liked Rod Stewart, and then was like, oh my God, he's actually sick. And then I'd collect all the records. And yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. And then it kind of became like mine and my dad's thing in the end of like, we've been to all these shows and stuff together. And
oh, have you?
Yeah, it's just become like,
How was that? What was he like live?
He's amazing. The thing is that the way I've been to see him in like Norwich and like Ipswich Town, so like all in Suffolk, where I've been like the youngest person there by like, 30 years. And I remember I actually went with my dad and his wife and kids, and we were sat right at the top of Norwich football ground, and like it was all going down at the main stage, like down at the bottom on the field. And I was like, Dad, I'm just going for to get a drink. And I just went to the bottom of the stairs. I just jumped over, the football signs at the bottom before you get on the pitch. And the thing is, there's two granddad security guards when they're not looking. So I just ran, took my jumper off, and was at the front with like Auntie Sharon and Auntie Karen like dancing to the hot legs. It was I texted him, I was like, I'll see you at the end of the show. Like I want to be dancing down here with the aunties. So
of course, yeah. What a moment that was. We had a blast.
Yeah.
That song, by the way, it was from the Three Musketeers soundtrack.
Robin Hood, that's kind of similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
You were, you're nearly
I knew it was
there.
something like that. It's not those films aren't my cup of tea, so I'm aware of it. I've seen them, but I don't sit and watch them all the time. So you got a good relationship with your dad then? Yeah,
it's been actually quite good in the last sort of few months, if I'm honest with you, because I don't know, with lockdown and this year just been a bit of a fuck up. Yeah, relationship with my dad's got a lot better.
Yeah, I think it's this whole thing, the good thing that's come out of it is people have sort of come together a bit more. Like I've had phone calls from people I fell out with like 10 years ago, just out of the blue, just ringing me up going, listen, I know shit went down, but, this has all put it into perspective, and are you all right? And, we should talk again. And it's been really nice. It's been really nice.
I think like it's brought people together much more. Yeah. Like me and my dad, like we've always had a good relationship, and I've always, spoken to him once a week, once every 2 weeks. But like during this lockdown time, like he's called me every day, and it's been really nice actually, because it's been quite a lonely year, if I'm honest with you. It's been quite weird. I mean, I live on my own, so that's the difference. And I've gone from being traveling, last year I think I went to New York 5 times, LA twice, and then Europe. Like I travel a lot for work. I'm always on the go. If I'm not on the go, I'm at an event, or I'm working. So for that to kind of all be kind of just cut off and to be at home, I've just been like, shit, like, what is this? What's going on? What do I do? And then I think that's a lot of time I've been spending much more time like online and like working on my content. And like, I actually did during lockdown a lot of videos and stuff on like self-love series of things that we can do at home on a budget, like how to make your own face mask, how to make your own like bath salts, like how to like, cooking stuff and whatever, things that can make you kind of go back to old school times of like actually really, because I haven't done that for years. I haven't enjoyed a proper Sunday. I've always on the bloody go. So it's more, it was actually kind of, most of the time it was more for me to be like, chill out, calm down, survive. You got this.
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah, you don't, that's it, exactly. You have got this. There's that moment where you think you haven't, when it all kicked off. Because it all went so quickly, didn't it? Like, I was the same. Like, I travel a lot for what I do. Yeah. And suddenly, within 20 minutes, it had all gone. And I'm like,
you two were bloody hilarious at home doing your lives and stuff. I well enjoyed that.
Nice
and there
one.
was
Thank you.
Yeah, you two are fucking hilarious. And I think as well as you guys like obviously live together, you can bounce off each other, and obviously I'm sure you had plenty of arguments at the same time. But I was stuck. I lived in Russell Square at the time, so I was literally stuck in this like apartment block, like old council block, and I'd managed to like. I found the keys for the roof, and I'd managed to sneak up there on the 5th level to try and get up there without anyone seeing me. And I was like sitting up there painting on my own. It was like Mary Poppins. But I was just terrified because I was on my own, and I was like, when it got really scary, I was just like, if I get sick and go to hospital, like no one can come with me. That's it.
No.
And obviously you've seen all the horror stories online of like young people passing and like all this stuff. Sorry, it's got quite dark, but like
no, it's absolutely fine.
It was quite a tough time for so many people, just trying to get through this kind of a weird Black Mirror episode that we seem to be continuing having this year. It
was such a shock, wasn't it? I had people messaging me because Paul and I still kept the podcast going. Yeah. And I've been getting messages from people going, mate, nice one for this, because it gave them something. They were like, it was like just a voice that gave them comfort, just.
Well, we were meant to do this podcast like maybe 2 months ago, whatever, and I just wasn't in a good way, and I think I just forgot, or I was like, I didn't get the dates right, but I was literally just dealing with my own shit. I was like, I can't.
Yeah, of course.
I just wasn't in the right headspace, and I just forgot. And I was like, I'm so sorry, guys. Let's just do it when it's the right time. And I'm glad that we've managed to get it in now, where things are a bit more smoother. I've moved house. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm in my my little space now. And
are you feeling better now?
Yeah, much better. I think it's so weird because I feel this year as well, people have not been able to, me especially, I feel like I haven't been able to say how I really feel because I know so many people have been going through so much worse. Do you get that kind of weird
absolutely
guilt of like, I've been struggling with lots of different elements of my life, lots of different stresses, and usually I don't really talk about it because my online presence is very real, but I'm going to kind of contradict myself here because it's very real. I've always been very body positive, very open, very honest about my body, and I've always been very positive. And I am a very positive person when you get to know me. Like I ooze confidence and happiness, and I just want everyone to kind of feel amazing.
Yeah.
But when you put all of that energy constantly in online, which I always do, I don't always talk about when I'm feeling like shit, because I feel like I have so many young girls and boys that come to my channel to get some sort of like inspiration or to feel happy and to feel a sense of sort of security. So if I start going on my page and start crying and start saying I'm dealing with this, I feel like I'm not giving that same energy to these people who are coming here, who are dealing with their own shit. But at the same time, am I then being real? Because I'm only giving you the good parts. And I don't mean like when people say that about Instagram and they're like, they only show their holidays and their nice dinners and whatever. I'm talking about, I never seem to really talk about when I'm really upset. And
I get you.
But again, like I want to be able to talk about it, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm still in a safe space where people can just come for joy.
Yeah.
And it's balancing that out. And I think this year has really kind of twisted that on me and been like, maybe I should talk about when I feel like shit online. But then at the same time, it's the pressure of you know, when I talk about things that annoy me, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, when I go to fashion awards and they won't provide the right size dresses, or, you know, when someone is, you know, if there are a certain amount of trolling, or I'm supporting someone's campaign or initiative which has been dealing with bullying, or, you know, I'm quite vocal about that. And when I do talk about things like that, it usually does, you know, trickle out to bits of press. So when I refused to go to the British Fashion Awards because the company were basically using me to tick a box for diversity, and like all the other girls got like 50 dresses and I got to pick one, and I was like, do you know what, fuck this, like I'm not being used like this. And I was at home, I can't remember what I was watching, I think it was Girls Trip, and I'd ordered KFC, and I was at home and I was just texting my husband and said, I'm going to tweet that I'm not going because I couldn't find a dress. And I tweeted it, and it kind of got a lot of traction, because it was like, to get invited to the fashion awards is quite a prestigious thing in our industry, and for me to say no, I'm not going because you're not being diverse enough was quite a big thing at the time, and
that's huge. It
trickles out to press, and you know, so I feel that sometimes that when I'm feeling down or I'm feeling insecure about something, that I'm worried about, if I speak about things too much, it might make press in a way that I don't want it to.
I get you.
I just want to deal with it within my friends and family, and you know, maybe that is something that I'm saying it, that I should be more open about some things that upset me online. But I don't, because I want to...
Yeah.
No, I'm just going off on one now, so babes, I'd love to know.
No, I get it. I think do it as you've just explained it. You know, you're only human, and I think people, you know, people come to you because they see something in you. They, you know, you're, like you say, your positivity, and you're very real. And I think you just every now and again just going, look, you know, I'm feeling a bit shit sometimes. You know, you don't have to do it all the time. Yeah. But I think just do it as you've just explained it to me. I think people would just really appreciate that. I know that people have listened to the podcast and they've heard me say, look, you know, every now and again I'll have a cry, I'll have a bit of I'll just feel shit, and I don't know why. You know, I'll just be, everything just feels worthless, and I don't feel like, I'm sort of like, well, what's the point of me being here? I don't feel like I'm bringing any joy to anyone. And it goes away, you know, you kind of, you sort of like remind yourself of all the good stuff and why you're here, and, you know, but, you know, but people respond to that because society's telling us that we should all be happy 100% of the time, and that's not natural. Happiness is an extra thing that takes extra chemicals to create. What you want to find is sort of contentment, looking around you. I've said this before, and you're looking around and going, all right, yeah, no, actually, everything's all right. I'm all right. And I haven't, you know, even though things have been mental this last couple of months, I'm all right in the great scheme of things. And I think people would appreciate that from you. I do. You know, if it was every day and you were like, oh, another day, more clouds, you know, everyone would be like, oh, fuck this. But
of course, I get that. And maybe I will now, you know. Maybe I've had this conversation with you. Maybe I will. It is difficult because I don't really want to be woe is me, if you get exactly.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Because a lot of people are like that. A lot of people are like that online, and it's a bit like, I want to keep the energy up. I want to keep everything uplifted.
Yeah, but it's funny. I know people that they're millionaires, and they're still struggling with their mental health, and their, you know, because money and nice things like you know, they're like, it doesn't fill the void that's in your heart sometimes. That, you know, you could be sat around some incredible swimming pools, you could be anywhere, the most beautiful places in the world, but because you're a human being, that doesn't really matter. You know, that's nice and it's amazing and it's a privilege, but just simple things like being loved by someone, and not necessarily a partner, but by, you know, family and friends, and that's so important. And, you know, and like you say, you've been on your own for a long time, and human beings aren't used to that. We're very sociable creatures. We don't mind being on our own for a bit, but that's usually because we know we've got people to go back to. What have you done? You all right, mate?
Well, do you know what it is? I'm going to ask you. Sorry to interrupt you. I've bought some lights
That's
for
all right.
my crystal cupboard. So I basically made a disco for my crystals.
Oh yeah.
One of the lights has just fallen out behind me.
Just shut just shut
I was
yourself.
like, shit. That was a really good flow you had there, babes. And
I know. We had it.
I'm going to have to
It's all
replace
right.
the sticker. Sorry.
So actually, everyone's getting into crystals again.
Yeah.
My Jade's mate Clayton, he's getting into it. Load of crystals, and I believe in energy. There's energy in the world, and I believe that we feed off. I know definitely for comedy. I've been doing gigs without people in the room, and it doesn't work. You need people. You need that energy, that friction from people.
100%.
And I think, and there's definitely, we are connected. I mean, I've said this before. We are just dust and rocks that got a little bit excited, aren't we? Really.
I love that.
It's true though, isn't it? So I totally get the crystal thing, that different crystals bring a different energy.
I think as well as it for me, it's just it's a nice thing to have. Like when I've travelled, I try and get a crystal from each place in the world I travel, and I have them on me, feel protected. I just don't know. It's some people love it, some people hate it. It's just for me, it makes me feel grounded. They're also beautiful. They're beautiful things to have in your house. So,
Yeah, they are. We just get fridge magnets from where we've been.
love it. Amazing.
But you like your star signs as well, don't you?
I mean, yes. What are you?
I'm an Aquarian, the best one.
Oh yeah, you're an absolute weirdo.
Yeah.
Do you watch conspiracy theories?
I do. I really enjoy them because some of them are mad. I don't believe them.
Why?
But
Why do all
I
of
love
you,
watching them.
all of you Aquarians are obsessed with them? I'm not joking. You're also all quite weird. You're all very artistic and creative, but you have to be you always have to be right. Maybe Jade can answer that for me?
She's got in the other room to do something.
Oh. Do you always have to be right, babes?
No, actually, I used to be more like that. But I think as I've got older and I've had counselling, and since being with Jade, I've found out more about myself, and I'm happy not to be right. And in fact, this is why we do the podcast, because I'm learning stuff. I don't know enough about people. I need to get out there and talk to people. And so this is why the podcast exists. I'm learning from everyone that comes on. It's all about the guest. It's not about me. I hear so many podcasts, and halfway through I'm like, will you shut the fuck up and let them talk? Just let them have a word in. But I do have some typical, I am weird. I didn't realise I was. I always knew I was a bit different, and then growing up I thought there was something wrong with me. But now I'm like, oh no, I'm just that's
all
just
your
who I am.
Aquarians are quite odd characters, but you're brilliant. Like, just to let you know that my model agent, my TV agent, my PR, and two of my best friends are Aquarians. Like,
there you go, mate.
You are off your rocker, like literally.
Oh, we're mad.
But
mad as a bag of frogs.
Literally, but like quite amazing. Yeah.
What are you?
I'm a Leo.
Oh, you go on about you go on about Aquarians being right all the time. Leos are worse. Arrogant. They don't listen.
What are you talking about, babes?
Yeah, no, Leos are worse, man.
No, we're very loyal. We're very loving. Leo's all about self-love, darling. But yeah, we have got big egos and we are very attention-seeking. But can I just tell you that Leos and Aquarians are the actual opposites in the zodiac.
How are they?
But the good thing is that you guys, the Aquarians, you actually low-key love Leos because we're very fun to be around. We can be annoying, but we're very fun to be around. And actually, you know how to tame our egos without us realising, which is why you're so clever. But we don't want to keep telling you you're clever because you tell the whole world you're clever.
Yeah, that's true.
Isn't it?
That's true. Yeah, every Leo I've known has been loyal, loving, and there's an admiration for them. Even though I'm like, you fucking Leos, but
exactly.
Deep down, yeah. But deep down, I admire you. You admire it. You do admire it. I get it. I totally get it, man. It's funny, isn't it? Because I don't, I don't believe in like there being the stars are this, that, and the other. But I believe that you're born at a certain time, so you have certain traits, obviously.
100%. It's all about the moon.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's about the moon. I don't know why we didn't know this. No one ever told me that growing up. They were never like, it's obvious, isn't it? If we're like 85% water and the moon affects the tides, we're bound to get affected by it.
Of course.
Well, then we say that and it sounds mad, doesn't it?
Well, you can do a little research on that because that's what Aquarians like to do. You go and have your research. Literally, I went on holiday with one of my friends who's an Aquarian. And she's already like planned the escape route of everything. And I'm just like, God,
what?
Chill out.
I'm not like that. I'm definitely more chilled out than that. I like to just fling myself. I just kind of like to just fling myself off. Whereas Jade needs to know where we're going and what we're doing. She's a Sagittarian.
Yeah. She's also very good with Leos, like me and her. So obviously we're both fire signs, but you've got, so Leos and Sagittarius. Sagittarius are also like can't sit still, always have to be traveling, always on the go. But Leos and Sagittarius are naughty together. Like if we're on a night out, we're going to cause some shit, but have a blast. Yeah, we're going to cause a lot of trouble because we really egg each other on, but we're also quite similar. So it's just like it's not any sort of battle of egos. That's Leo and Aries. Aries are quite arrogant. They're more arrogant than Leos.
What? Really?
But in a different way. Leos are about self-love and like making others love themselves.
Okay.
But I feel like Aries are more like just loving themselves.
Yeah.
Speaking as an Aries.
Oh.
There's a lot of truth.
You're getting dragged, babe.
A lot of truth. I'm sitting there thinking, oh God. It's true. Yeah.
I love it when producer Paul chips in. Sometimes people, they'll just get him and he's like, oh, I'm going to say something.
Well, he's got two if he's an Aries. He can't be trash.
Yeah,
he needs to make a comment. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah.
Prove I'm right about something.
I love that. So what about Aquarians and Sagittarians?
Don't know.
No, because we do love. We're on a break at the minute. We're actually So it's because the lockdown was very stressful, and we were like, listen, why don't we just go and live in separate places for a bit and just not kill each other? And it's just worked out all right, actually.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's because of our start or just who we are as people.
Well, you are very different people, so I feel like when you can bounce off each other a lot, but I think if we take away star signs here, just generally in lockdown, I think everyone's wanted to low key, have some of their own space.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it was.
I think anyone that I've known that's been in a even my mates that got families and kids and that, they're like, I haven't had a moment to myself. And then you got me, it's like, hello, I'm bored.
Can we do something? Yeah.
Yeah. No, you can't because we're all locked in.
From 2 meters. You can do it from 2 meters. Jade and I, we just because like I say, we love each other very much, but it just got to a point where we're like, when we're on form, we're phenomenal. Like you saw during lockdown, we really had a good time and we really do bounce off each other really well. But things just got a bit much, and we were like two magnets, like opposing magnets, just not connecting at all. So we were like, right, I'm gonna go and I ended up, I don't know if you saw the videos, we've got Paul Sweeney that was living with us. I'm actually living with him for a bit. I'm actually living in his flat. So we've got this foreign exchange thing going on. But it's sort of because now Jade and I are sort of meeting up and having lunch and we're doing gigs together and we're sort of starting again, and it's a nice feeling. But I've got to be honest, it's weird being that grown up. Normally there's a catastrophe. Either I've fucked it up or the other person has fucked it up. But this time we've been very civilised. It's very grown up.
Good.
Which is weird. I don't know where this is going now. Just waffling.
I love to waffle. Don't worry, babe.
I forget that I'm doing a podcast. I end up just chatting.
Well, I was about to go like, I was about to go, so where are you living now? And then I think, don't ask that because it's a podcast. He's got people turning up to his town or his village.
Yeah. I'm actually, I'm in West Ham at the minute, so yeah, it's all very nice. It's all very lovely. I get to wander around, which is nice. what are you up to now then? What's happening with you? You got any, what are you working on? Anything?
Well, I've got a lingerie collection that I brought out last year, so with Playful Promises, which is, you know, an extensive size range. So I said I wouldn't want to do it unless I did as many sizes as humanly possible. So we have like from like a size 8 to a size 26, if I'm correct.
Okay,
and like
right.
booby sizes like A to K, so like literally all titties. And yeah, I wanted something that I couldn't do a collection with someone that was inclusive, that was under the name of Selflove Means Beauty without it doing it the most. So I had their first collection came out last year, and we've got another one coming out end of this year. I've got a few things under that I've been working on. Some of them I can't really say in case. Right. Okay. Actually, I don't want to jinx it or get in trouble.
No.
But jinx it or get in trouble. But yeah, just kind of focusing on like doing bigger things with Selflove Brings Beauty, and I think I wanted to do a school tour and start making kind of starter packs for universities and stuff, but that would involve me travelling, and obviously that's just been put on hold at the moment. So yeah, a few bits of that. I've got my own eyelashes in boots at the moment. Okay. So just kind of working on things like that, and just taking each day as it comes, to be on it. Like,
it's funny about that. You're talking about the bra sizes. I mean, I don't understand how they work, but I know how bras work. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean, like there was I read that thing a little while ago, and they said that a lot of women, or most women, don't have the right size bra. And is that?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Is that because is it because they're embarrassed to go and get measured up, or they can't? I think it's a mix.
I mean, I think it's a mix of both. I think it's, you know, some people might be embarrassed to go and get the boobs up. You don't actually have to get your actual boobs out. No. In stores, or people just, you know, a lot of the time they feel that they can't find their size in some of the stores that are close to them. So they just get one that kind of feels right, which actually can give you severe back problems and stuff. In the long run. Yeah. So it's cool for me to work with a brand that actually has an extensive size of like fuller bust and like fuller waistbands as well. So it's just like generally, because everyone wants to look bloody sexy. Everyone wants to have sexy underwear, whether it's for themselves or their partner. So I think it's important to kind of have a range that kind of push that narrative.
Nice. And what's it called again?
Playful Promises.
Playful Promises, and is that available online, or are you in certain shops?
Yes. So they have it in. Well, actually, they have a few shops in the US. Actually, like a few stockists in the US, but in the UK, it's on their website. They sell some on Simply Be, some on ASOS, and some on Zalando in Europe. Okay. So all online, but
right. Yeah, well, that's all right. That's good. So just because I know people listen to this and they're going to want to know, so men could take a note from that as well. Someone said the other day that someone put up a thing going, "How long should you wear a pair of pants for?" You know, like, one day. What are you doing? One day, you dirty bastard. What? You know. And
hang on. I thought you meant how long should you keep a pair of pants before buying new ones?
Oh no. Some men out there think you can wear them for more than one day. You're like, mate, nah. Come on, mate.
Gross.
What are you doing?
Gross.
Honestly, I know a lot of men take care of their beards now, and there's a lot more stuff for men out there, like grooming products and that. But I'm going to say this now, any men listening, get yourself some decent underwear, get a lot of it, and don't wear it for more than a day. Like, don't throw it away. I mean, wash it, but don't. Unbelievable. And if the people go, "Oh, these are my lucky ones," you go, "They're threadbare. Your balls are hanging out the bottom. What are you doing?"
Stop it.
You know, if not for you, for the person that's got to look at you in them. It just, do you know what I mean? I'd hate if Jade saw me in a pair of scuzzy old underpants. That would be the end. It'd be awful.
Yeah.
You know, men, sort your lives out. Wear some decent. And they go, "Oh, no one's going to see it." People are going to see it. The people you live with.
Sort your pants out.
Sort your pants out, mate, and your socks. Fucking hell. Yeah, just take more of an effort. Make more of an effort. You know, it doesn't hurt. Get yourself some underwear, mate. That's it. Now I'm going off again on this about pants now. Felicity, this has been lovely. I've really enjoyed this. You've been a fantastic guest. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
I'm just men, please change your pants. That's really what's going in my mind at the moment now, darling. It has shocked me.
It's not all men, but yeah.
Okay, but as women, like I'm talking for myself, I wear one pair of knickers a day, and if I go out and do an activity, if I go swimming or whatever, maybe 2 or 3. Always have clean knickers or pants, babes.
That's a good thing. That's a good way to leave it.
Thanks, babes.
Where can we find you on the socials? Are you on Instagram and things like that?
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter. I have a Facebook page, but nobody bloody uses that anymore, babe. So just Instagram and Twitter.
That's just family members doing the quizzes.
Oh, God. Yeah, just Felicity Hayward, babes.
Felicity Hayward.
It's just my name.
There you go, mate. Lovely. Thank you, Felicity. This has been great. Nice one, babes.
Produced by Paul Daniels at pauldaniels.tv.
On the latest Your Next Episode, we talk pants with Playful Promises Emma Parker.
Women are really diverse.
Yeah.
And therefore they will, this diverse range of women want to see people that look like them. Women that are like sort of 45 to 60 are buying underwear from our website in the same kind of numbers as women who are 18 to 24. Right. So this idea that it's all young women buying underwear is I've got data that tells me that isn't true.
Yeah. Search Your Next Episode wherever you get your podcasts.